Tell us your biggest money mistake, if you will.
Getting a car that we actually paid triple for.
Oh, it's Scuba Steve who's still paying for his wedding.
What? We're about to hit our 10-year anniversary.
I was feeling bad about how much I spent over Black Friday weekend, and then I started thinking and thought, I'm financially irresponsible every day, so nothing new.
Okay, so today we got a classic video for this channel. We're going to be taking a look at people making bad financial decisions. Just as simple as that, we have a lot to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But I'm not trying to make some long intro. Let's just jump right into it.
What's been your worst money mistake?
Getting a whole life insurance policy at 24 years old, locking myself into paying $1,500 a month until I'm 45, and that's when I'll break even.
Biggest money mistake is switching security systems, and it's costing me $100 a month.
Are you locked in a contract?
I am.
What's the first letter of the system you switched to?
V.
What's been your worst money mistake?
Racking up too much credit card debt in my 20s. I did it so I could go on some trips, do some fun traveling, but it took me a few years to pay off.
What would you do differently to still enjoy your 20s, but not end up in a lot of debt?
Less money going out to the bars and set up a stronger automated savings account system.
Okay, so the credit card debt is nothing new. We've heard it a million times on this channel. But the other two examples of people getting locked into plans with no way out. We had the security camera plan where you're losing $100 a month, but signing a contract for a life insurance policy that's $1,500 a month that she said she was only 24 at the time sounds absolutely insane to me. But we also have some comments from you guys. I asked, what's your worst financial decision you've ever made? Letting my cousin talk me into buying a $200 pair of shoes, also collecting Pokemon cards for several years. I know that it's still popular in 2025 and a lot of cards do have a lot of value, but if you're just buying packs and collecting just to collect, it could still be a very costly hobby. When I was 20, I financed a $500 couch. I often missed or was late on payments because I was irresponsible. 2 years later, I paid it off at the cost of over $2,000 and a credit hit, quadrupling the price of a couch. That's rough. Another comment just says DoorDash. That's all you really need to say. $20,000 on mobile game, Black Desert Online and Rise of Kingdoms. I've never even heard of those games. It took me 3 years to pay it off, but at least I learned how to live below my means through that. I guess there was no choice if almost all the money was being funneled into these mobile games. That's crazy. Buying a 2015 Chevy Spark, the transmission went out 3 years into the loan and I'm still trying to pay it off. I used student loans to buy a car and then I did it again 10 years later. I guess they're talking about the extra money they got from their loans that's supposed to be put towards books and all the other expenses they just put on a car, I guess twice. Another comment with games, spent over $10,000 on Hearthstone, although I played it for over 15 years. I mean, I get that you put a lot of time into it instead of just playing a whole bunch of different games and constantly buying microtransactions and then just hopping to the next one and the next one, but you're still talking almost $700 a year for that game that I'm pretty sure is free to play. Yeah, it is. So that's how they get you with those games, and you pay way more than even the already inflated game prices of like $60, $70 today. $5,000 cash advances over the weekend at casinos at the age of 21. Took me years to pay that off. Bought an empty lot for $75,000, paid taxes and mowing for a decade, then sold it for $30,000. Pure genius. My guess is that you were hoping some land developer would go buy it from you for a crazy profit. Unfortunately, that did not work out. Trusting a scammer on Indeed, gave him $10,000 thinking he was going to help me take care of my mother after my dad passed from COVID. That's exactly why I have these scam series on this channel as well. That's brutal. But let's move on to some more clips.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Probably getting addicted to like nicotine.
Yeah.
$10 a day turns into, $50 a week, like during the weekdays and shit. That's $400 a month, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, gambling, I've had bad luck gambling a couple times. The first time I went, I won like $900. Next time I went, lost like 400.
Yeah.
You'll never feel that kind of pain.
That's how they get you at first, right? Like you win the first time and it like makes you want to go again because you think you're going to win.
Exactly, yeah.
So again, we got another gambling example, but I know specifically cigarettes aren't nearly as popular with the younger generations, but the rise of using chewing tobacco or Zyn, any of those other ones. There's one that I have to look up that's very odd. Feel Free or something? Yeah, it is. I mean, there are a lot of iterations that go in and out of style, a lot of the Juul as well, but along with the health effects, your wallet is not going to like it either. These things get increasingly more expensive as you get more addicted to the product. So it's just going to funnel more and more money out of your bank account until you you've realized you've lost thousands. We have a comment from one of you guys here. My friend got $250,000 when his dad passed away. It was all spent in about a year. When he got that money, he said he never wanted to work again, and he didn't invest anything and blew it all. I mean, even if he did invest it, getting a 7% return would be about $18,000 a year, which would definitely help, but in this high cost of living climate would be pretty impossible to do. But they didn't even take steps to do that. And all of it was blown in a year, probably partying and buying things you didn't need.
Tell us your biggest money mistake, if you will.
Getting a car that we actually paid triple for.
How does that even work?
Just financing.
Oh, no. What kind of car was this?
2020 Equinox, Chevy Equinox.
Right. Okay, what'd you pay for the Equinox?
It was actually $21,000.
Okay.
And we probably paying about $40,000.
Is that because of crazy interest rate? How does that?
Yes.
What was the interest? Do you remember?
22%.
Yes. All the things. Yes, we did all the things.
22% interest on a car loan.
Yes.
Were you married at the time?
Yes.
What did you think about this?
Listen.
Did you know about this?
Yes.
On top of it being a Chevy with known problems, they definitely went to one of those shady car dealerships and got an absolutely terrible rate. But unfortunately, those types of clips are very common on this channel. Now, one that I think a lot of people have forgotten, especially over the past year or two, that I would venture to guess that anybody who still has diamond hands would have made a pretty bad financial decision.
Remember when NFTs were everywhere? People were spending millions on digital art, profile pictures, and pixelated monkeys. So what happened? At their peak, NFTs were selling for absurd amounts, $69 million for a single Beeple piece. Everyone wanted in. Celebrities launched collections, brands followed, and social media was flooded with Web3 hype. But the crash came fast. As the crypto market dipped, so did NFT values. Scams and rug pulls destroyed trust. And most buyers realized, owning a digital JPEG doesn't mean much if no one wants to buy it later. In fact, a 2023 report showed that over 95% of NFTs are now basically worthless. NFTs aren't gone, but the hype bubble definitely popped. What's left is still evolving. But for most people, it was just a really expensive lesson in FOMO.
So if you were caught holding the bag, in hindsight, you probably think that it was a pretty bad choice. I really never understood the hype about it, especially the absurd amounts of money. To me, just immediately scream money laundering. I know people talk about that pretty often when it comes to the art scene in general, but paying millions or tens of millions of dollars for a JPEG that you technically own, but anybody else can screenshot, is just pretty funny to me, and that's what all the comments were. Just take a screenshot. People screenshotting them to make NFT buyers mad was so funny. Don't screenshot it. But I don't know about you. Other than watching this video, I haven't heard anything about it in at least a year. The hype and popularity just completely vanished.
Sometimes you just gotta buy the car you can't afford, so now you gotta afford it. I am a dental assistant, okay? This is like low-key out of my tax bracket. You know what? God's looking out for me. It's been going my way. I'm just gonna keep manifesting and speaking things into existence, because when I do that, it just happens. So, some bad financial advice from Bree Bree. Just figure it out. Just figure it out, shorty.
Until all the things that have currently been going your way take a 180. Stretching yourself thin financially to afford a car right now in this job market is definitely not the safest thing to do. But honestly, most of the time, it's guys saying this kind of stuff. Buy the car you can't afford so it forces you to work harder, blah, blah, blah. That's a pretty common saying in the guru, alpha male world, where they're just trying to sell you a course or mentorship. But we could go over to the comments. Got a winning mindset there. You'll get far. I'm a repo guy in LA, so I'll probably low-key see you in a few months, because that's actually what happens a majority of the time. But we got even more of this stuff, chasing status, wanting things that people don't have, and just living a completely materialistic lifestyle.
Why I will never buy a car that has depreciated 70% of its value. And it really has to do with prestige. And yeah, I am one of those sticklers that I like having stuff that other people don't have too. It's just the name of the game. It's called prestige. If you have such a rare item like a Pokemon card, you don't want somebody else to pull in the same thing. And so that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards 911s, especially the GT3 RSs. And it's because that they retain value. Even if it drops 20% of the current value of maybe 350 grand is still $290,000. Not many people can attain that. So, you know, you're getting a car at 290,000 knowing that you're going to be one of the special ones on the road. Compare that to any M car, any BMW, any CLS, any AMG, even like Audi RS models.
Imagine living your entire life and liking the things that you do just to have the prestige and status in the eyes of other people that you don't even know. They're just strangers. And I'm not trying to say that you're not allowed to like Porsches, but especially talking about the GT3 RS, that's just a new popular trending car. Just a few years ago, all of these YouTubers and influencers were buying McLarens. Then before that, it was Lamborghinis. And right now, Porsches are very popular. And I wouldn't doubt in a few years, another supercar is the cool one to get now. And everybody else will be chasing after that one too. Again, I'm not trying to say that you're not allowed to like any of these things, but especially with the way that he was putting it, he only cared about the status and prestige because other people didn't have it. What kind of life is that to live?
The biggest L you can take in your 20s is choosing a high-paying job that has zero status and zero identity. See, if I was to offer you two jobs, a 75K job and a 150K job, 99% of people would pick the 150K job without a second glance, and that might not be the best option. Because the job you choose isn't always about money, it's about status, perception, and the doors that that career can open for you. Think about the first question everyone asks you when you're at a party or a networking event. So what do you do for a living? And the reason they're asking that is to gauge how much respect they should actually be giving you. Now, this isn't always the case, but even in dating, women care a lot more about the type of work that you do than your actual income. You could make 250K as a random tech employee, but you could still lose out to a dude making 80K as a diplomat or a filmmaker. Why? Because identity is greater than income. Think about those crypto guys. They made all their money. You would think that they would just go on living their lives. But the thing is, they never stop just there. They always come to social media or something else because they got the money, but what they're missing out on is the status that they want.
Okay, so there's several things to talk about. First, with those crypto guys, for any of them that popped up on social media trying to sell you this new meme coin, they were not nearly as successful as you think. They're just trying to get rich off of other people rug pulling them, because any of the guys who genuinely made a massive amount of money, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of the meme coin stuff, before it got super popular, you will never hear about them. You'll never know their name. They'll just disappear and retire and live a very nice life. It's not that they're trying to chase status being a YouTuber, they just want to scam more people. But we could go to the comment section real quick. This guy would take the dinner with Jay-Z. If you don't know what he's talking about, it's a question from a while ago. Would you rather have $500 or a dinner with Jay-Z? And people were saying that they'd rather take the Jay-Z dinner because then they'd be able to talk business and start their empire, blah, blah, blah. It's just a whole lot of nothing that business grind set type of group that again love to shill courses and be in mentorships and you gotta pay them, all will try to regurgitate, and this guy sounds exactly like that. The thing is, most high-paying jobs have status. Are we serious right now? What if I don't care about what people think? And as we've seen a lot over the past few years, you think that I'm going to take a lower-paying job for the possibility of having upside in the future with how terrible the job market is now? You're just gonna get overworked and underpaid until they have budget cuts, and then you're gone. But yeah, keep chasing status for the rest of your life. See where that gets you. We have a clip up on screen right now. On board, tell me the worst financial mistake that's been the hardest to recover from. Sold my house with a 3% mortgage for an 8% thinking the rates would go lower. It's been 3 years. Credit cards, just recklessly spending. Going to Disneyland because tickets were on sale. Ended up spending $5,000 in 4 days for 2 people. In the eyes of Disney, that marketing worked perfectly. You put the day passes on sale and then they'll just spend so much money on food and merch that they'll make even more money from you. School loans, barely got a decent job. How do I pay them back? Bought a BMW, the maintenance is ridiculous. Gambling, $17,000, lost in 6 months. Comment right after that, gambling addiction. That's coming up a lot in this video already. Another one just says timeshare. Getting my first credit card at 18, had no financial literacy, and it's been hard to recover from. Well, speaking of the finances, we could talk about what happens in a relationship.
My husband and I got in an argument today, like a big argument. Hardly ever fight. We connect really well on pretty much everything. Today, we were having a conversation about one of the big three, and today it was about finances. I hate talking about money. I hate it. I grew up without a lot of it, and so now as an adult, I have a husband who takes very good care of us, and I definitely have more than I did growing up. I tend to have an abundance mindset, feel like I can spend what I want to spend and have the things that I want to have.
So we could cut it off there. You basically already know what's happening. The husband is the saver and she is the spender. They are not on the same page financially because she has an abundance mindset. I love when people try to say things in a different way to make it not as cut and dry. The government loves to do it. The job market is easing. It's tightening. Quantitative easing, quantitative tightening. I have an abundance mindset, which actually means I just like to spend money. One of the biggest reasons for divorce is money problems. And not only not being on the same page as your husband, you go and decide to put it out online for everybody else to see. I don't know if that's a choice that I could get behind. We have another comment from you guys here. Here in Finland, you don't have the option for bankruptcy. If you can't pay your bills, they'll take you to court and they'll be taking money out of your paycheck until everything is paid. If after 15 years it's still not paid, then the rest of your loans are forgiven. It's a painful, long road, but at least you won't get into more debt, since with no credit, nobody would give you any loans. And that is just not what happens in the US. People love spending money they don't have so much now that it's not even really paid attention to anymore.
Money's being spent at a point now where people don't understand what's being spent. And you take your phone out, like literally just drop, like you just spent, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And you do that and again and again and again. And it's everything. And kids have no clue how much money they're spending.
The fact that kids can spend money willy-nilly is crazy. You know, I mean, like young kids. I'm not talking about teenagers. You know?
It's so easy now. I Apple Pay everything and money doesn't feel real anymore. And this is a good transition into the next clip with the consequences of this type of spending.
Yo, I've discovered something about myself today. And I was thinking about it. Like, as soon as I'm broke is when I become super disciplined with money. Like, I'm talking about discipline. $20 of gas? That kind of thing. But when I got it, I got it. And I don't look at stuff like that. Why is it that when I'm broke is when I'm only disciplined with my finances?
And this is not the only type of clip that I've seen. Here's one that's very recent.
I was feeling bad about how much I spent over Black Friday weekend, and then I started thinking and thought, I'm financially irresponsible every day, so nothing new.
About to make the worst financial decision of my life, my bank account is empty. But it's fun and relatable to put up posts like this. Real footage of me running towards my next bad financial decision. How it feels teaching 24 8-year-olds after losing my entire paycheck the night before on a parlay. Are there teachers with gambling addictions now? And the creator responds, hobbies, not addictions. I think it's pretty clear how much of a hater I am of gambling with all of these types of examples that I've shown you on this channel.
What would you do if your husband lost $500,000, your life savings, on apps like DraftKings and other similar online platforms? I didn't really understand this until I heard the story recently on a podcast about this married couple who had, saved up $500,000 to live their dream life. And the wife had found out that they had lost it all because her husband had been using apps like DraftKings and FanDuel, and she found out because her account was overdrafted $8. Since 2018 and a Supreme Court decision, Americans have wagered $450 billion on apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, and BetMGM. In 2024, Americans lost $14.2 billion on these platforms. This has caused a 28% increase in bankruptcies, 30,000 additional bankruptcies every year. It's also caused an 8% increase in debt collection and a 9% increase in auto loan delinquency.
So this is obviously not a hobby. This is an addiction that ruins your entire life. Even the situation at the beginning of the video, I wouldn't doubt that the wife would divorce him, but that would not bring back the $500,000 that is gone. You worked for that for most of your life just so you could bet it away. I know I talk about this all the time and you're probably sick of it, so I feel like I made my point. We can move on with the rest of the video. This might sound wrong, but I love hearing people's financial horror stories. Like jaw-dropping, how does this even happen stories. I opened up 10 credit cards when I turned 18, maxed them all out. I was making $400 a month, so I let them all go to collections. Was being sued left and right. My dad refinanced his house to pay off the cards. Are you kidding me? Told me to never do it again. That is an absolutely crazy decision made by both the commenter and the dad. When I pay off my car, it'll be $98,000 that I paid. Right now, the car is only worth $27,000 and I still owe $54,000. I wanted to build my credit and signed on my first loan at 19. Didn't read and accidentally signed a 108% interest rate. I didn't even know they went up that high. That sounds like a buy here, pay here lot where the lines get blurred and the deals are extremely shady. I got a car for a guy that I was dating for 2 months in my name. He trashed the car, stopped making payments, and got repoed. Was in the hole for 7 years. What was I thinking? I don't know. My father-in-law spent 500 grand from his wife's retirement account and blew it at the casino. It's just the same stories over and over again. Had to file bankruptcy and lost everything. Now they live in a moldy fifth wheel in the mountains of Georgia when they used to have a beautiful home. My mom handed $50,000 in cash to a scammer when she thought she was working for the FBI. Family members sent every penny they had to a TV preacher. Maxed out all my credit cards at 18, still paying them off at 25. This is brutal, man.
What's been your worst money mistake?
Selling Bitcoin in 2015.
Have you estimated how much it would be worth today?
I try not to do too much math. I had about 3.5 Bitcoin.
What has been your worst money mistake?
Going to a private grad school for communications, it's not necessary.
What has been your worst money mistake?
When I was in high school, I signed up for a boxing gym and they locked me into a 2-year contract and I went to 2 classes, had to pay out the whole contract. Don't make decisions when you're 18 to sign any kind of contract.
I think the gym example is a good one to talk about, especially during this time of year. I know we're getting close to New Year's. Everybody's resolution is to get in shape, which I'm not saying that you shouldn't do, but people go a little overboard. They decide to go to a very expensive gym or add on any of the classes, personal training. A lot of them will lock you into a long-term contract, and if you're not 100% on board, you're just going to waste a ton of money.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Getting a credit card for my mom so she could build her credit score. And then she racked it up all the way.
Like you added her as an authorized user?
Yeah, so she could build her credit score because she couldn't because my dad f***ed her credit so bad. And then on top of that, bro, I got in a car accident, got money for it, and she was holding on to like $20K for me. Spent it all.
Damn.
Yeah, bro.
So you're just staying away from moms at this point then, huh?
Yeah, and dads too, so it's like...
Okay, so we got a lot of family and relationship related issues in this video. People gambling life savings away or parents taking money, maxing out credit cards, and you'd still be on the hook at the end of the day. We got another comment from you guys here. My brother spent $90,000 on a wedding in 2002. He's still in debt from it, has another $30,000 left. That is a very good transition into the next clip.
Oh, it's Scuba Steve who's still paying for his wedding. What? We're about to hit our 10-year anniversary, and I found out myself last week. My wife and I were going through our finances, just getting things lined up, and she's like, yeah, we're still paying for our wedding. I'm like, we're still paying for our wedding? It's like, holy crap. Oh. And so we're still paying. I think the wedding cost about $50,000 plus our honeymoon. And then it's kind of been wrapped up into other expenses like having a kid a year and a half later. You know how life is. Well, that's not wedding, though. But it just snowballs into all this debt. Yeah. And you have to pick and choose what you pay for. And the wedding has just been on the back burner.
Amen, brother.
Gosh. Yeah.
That's tough. So what would your advice be to people who are getting married now and thinking about putting in $20, $30, $80, $200,000 into a wedding?
Don't put that money into a house. I say still have a wedding, but just have a smaller ceremony that you can enjoy with a smaller group of people.
While I do agree with his advice today, I think it's nuts that you have no idea what your financial situation is at all. He didn't even know until his wife told him that they were still paying for the wedding. I'm not saying you have to be obsessed with money 24/7, but basically everyone's on their phone hours and hours a day, and they make apps for every bank account, credit card you could think of. So all you have to do is just once a day or once every couple days, just check up on everything. It's really not that hard. A comment here that does make a good point: snowballs into debt. Yeah, buddy, that's all your decisions that you've made. You don't have to have debt. They just decided to go overboard on the wedding they couldn't really afford, and then having a kid and buying a house adding even more debt, all things that could have been avoided or at least planned for.
What's something that immediately screams bad with money to you? Because for me, it's if you own any type of buy now, pay later app. I'm talking Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, whatever. Like, why are you splitting up a $60 purchase at Shein, babe?
A car payment over $700, right after that being car rich but house poor. Klarna for clothing. Why are you doing 4 payments for clothes? More than 1 degree making less than $100,000. Any clothing store credit card. I know TJ Maxx is a huge one we've seen on this channel, especially with the overconsumption topics. But we have another post up on screen right now. Financial mistakes I made when I was married. Number 1, taking $14,000 out of my IRA. My now ex-husband was pursuing a pro tennis career, and when his sponsors stopped supporting him, I used my own retirement to keep his dream alive. That sounds pretty crazy to me. Number 2, taking on $20,000 personal loan. When the money ran out, I took a loan to keep us going. I kept telling myself it was temporary, that it would all pay off one day when he made it big in tennis. Okay, so I don't know how old they are, but there is a time where you just kind of have to realize to yourself that you're not going to make it big. I know it sucks. It happens to legitimately 99% of the people trying to make it, I wanted to be a professional soccer player, and I dedicated an unbelievable amount of time to training. And yeah, I was pretty good, but around 21, 22 years old, I just had to come to the realization that I was not going to make it. And I definitely was not going to take out loans to keep pursuing that dream. Number 3, taking vacations we truly couldn't afford. Our marriage was drowning in resentment and financial stress. I talked about that before. Money problems are a huge stressor. I booked us fancy vacations to save us. They didn't save anything, they just added debt. Number 4, selling my car to get ahead. Sold my car that was worth $26,000 to buy a $22,000 one so I could save $4,000 to pay back some of the money I borrowed for his tennis career. The new car had issues, ended up spending more in the long run. And as you could see by the creator turning off the comment section, the reaction was probably not the best. I feel like a lot of people would probably say you shouldn't have been funding the tennis career. If he really wanted to make it big, he would have to find a way to either fund it himself or be good enough to get sponsors. That burden should not have to fall on you.
Customer paid $90,000 for the solar panel system and a new roof. 2 SMA 600 watt inverters, 39 Q-cell 380 watt solar panels, quick bolt QB2 attachments, Iron Ridge XR10 rail with, mid clamps, end clamps, T-bolts, all the components like that. I like the system. I like the manufacturers. Installation was like less than good. Components were value, if anything, but reliable but value. But $90,000. Fast forward a couple years, system isn't working. So now he has a power bill and he has a loan payment on the solar and roof.
I know I made a video a while ago just talking about solar panel scams, but I still see these pop up consistently on my TikTok. Almost 6 figures on this setup and it stops working. So you have to pay on the loan every month and you still have a power bill. Solar industry is borderline fraud. Gotta love when the system goes down and gotta pay both bills. But we'll finish off this video with something that we hear all the time when it comes to these bad financial decisions. I could just drop dead tomorrow.
I could die tomorrow. I'm spending money today.
You could die tomorrow. Statistical likelihood you won't, so why not prepare for the statistical likelihood that you will not die? If you died tomorrow and you were sacrificing for the statistical likelihood that you will be here for decades to come, you're dead, you won't know you didn't have fun. So it doesn't fucking matter. So take the betting odds that you'll be here and sacrifice for that better life.
Okay.
Okay.
Your 20s are for having fun. I'm having fun.
Wait, who says you can't have fun? I advocate for investing 20%. Investing 20%. There's a lot left for fun. Who says you can't have fun? You're being responsible at the same time. Why does fun have to equal destroying and blowing up our entire life? That doesn't make any sense to me. Can you help me understand that?
I don't think 50,000 is destroying my life.
It's only getting worse and you've been out of debt twice. Yes, you're destroying your life. It's only getting worse.
Your 20s are for fun, but not the kind that you have to spend your 30s and 40s recovering from. I almost did die, but you still have to manage your life. Absolutely live for the present and do what makes you happy, but what you also have to realize is how important an emergency fund is and saving so you don't completely drown when life screws you. And no matter how many times you say it, there are just some people who will not listen and you have to let them make their own mistakes, as unfortunate as that is. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.